Right, welcome to Morocco, Agadir, and this is the bike I've just finished the Atlas Mountain race on. So the Atlas Mountain race is a 1200 kilometer race around, well, the Atlas Mountains. It starts in Marrakesh, loops over the high Atlas, around the anti-Atlas, into the desert, and then back here, finishing on the coast in Agadir. And this is the bike that I used. So for this race, I used my Mason InSearchOf, which is obviously drop bar, 29-inch wheels, and I fitted the suspension fork on the front there. It's a very rough, rocky race, you can probably see by the terrain around me. But there are a lot of fast gravel roads and tarmac sections, so it seemed like a good compromise. On the whole, it worked quite well, although I'm beginning to think that a lightweight hardtail would probably be better on the rougher stuff, mainly from a control point of view. Running the GRX levers, it's a bit of a mash-up group set. Di2 GRX levers, an XTR 11-speed rear mech, and then I've got a 36 tooth up front, and then I'm running 1148 on the rear. Probably could have done with a 50 in all honesty, but I got up the climbs okay. The wheels, I've actually been running these for a while, so these are a prototype, but they've just been released by Hunt. So the new proven range from Hunt is kind of the top end race rims. So these are the XE rim. They've been used to take part in World Cups. They've won Tour Divide and Silk Road this year and Highland Trail, so they're well proven, no pun intended. And they did me proud on this one again, nice and light. Tyres, Rene Fleecer Ridge tyres, 55mm, go for the endurance casing. Again, lots of rocks, so I want to make sure that you know, punches the risk of punches is kept to a minimum. Nice fast tread profile, works well in these dry conditions, and yeah, they proved themselves to be good. A new addition to this bike for the Atlas Mountain race was this Redshift suspension seat post. As I said, it's quite rough and bumpy, and I just wanted to smooth the ride a little bit. So I've tried that for the first time. It really made a big difference. And I've also got Brooks C15 cambium saddle on there with a cutout in the middle. Again, super comfortable over the distance. Didn't have any saddle issues, and definitely continue using that in the future. On to the bags. As you know, I'm sponsored by Tailfin, and I'm lucky enough to be part of their R&D division. So I get special funky custom bags, which is very nice. So this frame bag is custom made for this particular bike, and it's quite wide at the front, so I can carry loads of extra stuff in there. I used it on Tour Divide this year. It just works really well, and you know, did the job perfectly. The rear pack is a special pack. It's kind of like a double-ended dry bag, just a bit lighter for this race, and you know, I can just stuff my sleeping gear in there nice and quickly, and it's nice and stable with the carbon rear arch on there. And then I use my extra large top tube pack, which again is well proven, does the job. On to the cockpit and lighting. So I'm running Klite's dynamo system. This is the mountain bike light, so it's got a super wide bright beam pattern, which I really like at night when you're tired, because it just allows your eyes to really relax and you're not focusing on a small puddle of light. And yeah, I've got the switch mounted under here, so that switches between the USB charger, which I use to charge my old school Wahoo Element, and then the main beam light. And then I've got my spot tracker on the top on these Prime, I think they're Prime Noosa, just carbon aero bars, just enough to perch on, but not overdo it. So I'll show you what I've got in my bags. It's a couple of days after the race now, so a few things have been taken out, but on the whole everything is in here. But I can't really remember what order stuff went back in when the race finished, because you know, it was you know, the live race, so not as tight as it might have been before I started. So in the main frame bag I have basically my layers. I've got a small Albion bag just to put stuff in as and when needed. I've got my trusty Albion lightweight insulated jackets. You may have seen that before in some other gear lists with a hood on there. In the end I didn't need the hood. I probably could have got away with the standard one, not the custom one, and that would have saved the pack weight a little bit, but I just wasn't sure. I've got a bag with a spare Wahoo Element in, just in case. I've got some windproof long finger gloves, which I actually used because it rained on the first night, and when you're at 2,500 meters it can be quite cold. Along with those, I've got these grip wrap mitts with a really big gel pad, and they go with the gel underlay under the bar wrap, and that really helped my hands on this rough course. I took an Albion Merino snood. I didn't actually use it in the end, but it's good to have. My Albion ultra lightweight gilet, again, I think I only wore it once. It was quite warm, so it wasn't necessary to use it. I've got some leg warmers. I did use these every night because it was cold at night, so keeping your legs warm, your muscles warm, your joints warm, really important. So they got used every single night of the race. That'll be the other one. Then I've got my pump in here, just a Crank Brothers one with some tape on it for emergency use. And then my general toolkit, brake pads, tools, spare links, you know, bolts, that kind of thing in there. There's another spare inner tube in there, and there's 250 grams of honey which I took with me, which I thought might be useful to put on bread and stuff, and then I forgot about it, so I've basically carried that around the whole race, and it's unopened. I took a warm headband. I think I used it on the first night, but again, kind of weighs nothing, so worth taking. That's a grip wrap one again. And onto the rear pack. It's primarily my sleeping gear, and I've also got some bits and bobs that just got shoved in the side pockets here. So they're my arm warmers. The last morning was a bit chilly, so I ended up just chucking them in there. It's my base layer, just an Albion mesh base layer. I think I wore it when it's cold, but not that much. Again, quick access. And then this is kind of cool. I use this a lot in the heat when it's 40 degrees in the desert. This is a custom piece of gear by my mum. It's a hunt cap with the top cut out and a bit of base layer sewn into the back of it, so I could have like a sun protection on my neck, and that was a lifesaver. Apart from that, I've got some toilet tissues because I had to go to the toilet, and just a couple of sachets of drink mix which I didn't drink, but they're good to have with you just in case, you know, you run out of energy. And then in the bag itself is my sleeping setup. So basically I had a small inflatable pillow, just because I'm getting a bit old and I like my comforts, and then I could just pull out everything nice and easily. Oh fuck, Jov, can you just give us a hand? So yeah, I can just pull my sleeping gear out and then roll it out instantly. And it's just an outdoor research helium bivvy with a loop and a bug mesh, and then I have my custom PhD sleeping bag in here, which I use for pretty much my races, and then a Thermarest Neo Air sleeping mat, just because I just think that you need to be comfortable when you're sleeping in these things, and if you skimp on weight sleeping gear, you can pay for it by not sleeping badly. Although having said that, a lot of the guys at the front of the race basically took a super lightweight foil bivvy bag, and that was that. But I've got wet and cold and slept too much outside to want to do that anymore. So that's the rear pack. And the final thing I had in the frame bag, just an Albion rain jacket. Why do you take a rain jacket to race in the desert? Well, as we learned, it can rain. So yeah, I wore that and it kept me dry, and I was very grateful I took it with me. Finally, the top tube pack. Well, it's just stuff. I took a disposable camera with me, so God knows how that's going to turn out. Sunscreen, like chain lube stuff. There was loads of cables, they're not in there at the moment. Exposure joystick, some tampons, which believe it or not are quite good when you get a nosebleed, even though that's a bit disgusting. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, that was my Atlas Mountain race bike setup and kit check. So yeah, super happy with that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the race video, which should be out now, and yeah, give us a like and subscribe and all of that stuff. Thank you very much.